Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Bob Power, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you've joined us for our next live presentation from Lavras Gold Corporation. Please note, you can submit questions in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Michael DeRose, President and CEO of Lavras Gold Corporation, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol LGCFF and on the TSXV under the symbol LGC. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you everybody for joining us to listen to our presentation on Lavras Gold. The title of my presentation is Realizing the Potential of a Multi-Million Ounce Gold District in Southern Brazil, which is really the key focus of our company. Please note that I will be making some forward-looking statements, so please read the fine print. Our key strategy is a relatively simple one, which is to expand from our existing 1 million ounce gold resource base on our Lavras do Sol project in southern Brazil. We're going to do this by discovering new gold deposits. We have 24 targets that we know about so far on our property, and we want to de-risk the LDS project on both the environmental and permitting fronts. And lastly, we want to leverage the revenue-based gold royalty that we have on our Marosa project in central Brazil. Ultimately, our goal is to prove that we have a potentially economic gold mine on our Lavras do Sol project in southern Brazil. Brazil is a very good district from a mining perspective. One of the largest iron ore producers in the world, Vale, which has got about a $64 billion market valuation, has really defined the culture of mining in the country. There's a very well-established mining law in the country, and certainly Brazil ranks in the top 15 in terms of gold mining countries in terms of gold production. There are two advanced gold mining projects being developed to production, which will enter production in the second half of 2024. One with G Mining, which is a 2 million ounce open pit gold mine in northern part of Brazil, and then Hochschild's Mining, who purchased the Marosa gold mine from us in April of 2022, where their mine will be producing in probably about May or June of 2022 at about 100,000 ounces a year. Other big gold players in the country include Kinross, Hochschild's Mining, and Anglo Gold. In terms of the Lavras Gold share price, we went public in April of 2022. As many of you may know, we've been plugging away with 2 drills on site since that time, drill testing a number of targets. We've actually made about 6 new discoveries. We've reinterpreted 1. We had some very good success with our new Fazenda de Posto gold discovery, which we announced on August 29th, 2023 this year. You can see that our share price responded very favorable to those drilling results. That positioned us to do a favorable financing. We raised 13.7 million Canadian at $1.35 a share in late September, brought in a number of strategics and very high profile mining investors. And so we are very well financed to continue with our exploration program and de-risk the project. In terms of our capital structure, we currently have about 51.2 million shares outstanding. Basically, our share price is just under $1 a share. We have about 3.7 million options, and cash as of September 30th was 14.3 million. In terms of our shareholder base, management and insiders, about 20% of the company. Eric Sprott at 15%. Kinross, we brought in as a strategic at 5%. We've got a mix of institutional and retail investors, about 30% each. We also brought in Rob McEwen for about 1% of the company. In terms of our board and management team, I would just say it's a mix of capital markets and technical people. And so we have a combination of geologists, mining engineers on the technical side, and capital markets professionals on the financial side of things. Our project at Lavras is in southern Brazil. It's in an area of very good infrastructure. Sao Paulo, you can see on the map, is here in the middle of Brazil. You fly for about 2 hours to the south to Porto Alegre. which is a port city of about 1.5 million people. You drive to the property for about 4.5 hours by tarmac road, where we have water, roads, and power, and very good infrastructure. Most of our team, importantly, is from the town of Lavras or from surrounding areas. That includes our professionals, our geologists, and field crew. And our country manager, Paulo Serp, has also moved to the town. He's from the state as well. It's very helpful from a community relations perspective, and certainly builds the social license to explore and then ultimately develop a gold mine in the area. In terms of what we've been doing since we went public in April of 2022, as I mentioned, we've made actually 6 new discoveries and reinterpreted one called Candelaria. It's been very busy. And we've grown our gold resource from the initial 500,000 ounces, which we started with at Boua when we went public, to about 1 million ounces when we include our Cerrito gold discovery. What's really starting to emerge with respect to Lavras is we know it's a very large gold mineral system, and we actually have a lot of geological variability in terms of the styles of mineralization that we're seeing on the property. What got the market excited in late August of this year was our Fazenda de Posto discovery, where we drilled 340 meters of 1.1 grams per ton gold, continuous mineralization, which is quite significant. But equally important are some of these other deposits that we've been working on. For example, Zeca Souza, which is located about 1.2 or 1.3 kilometers north of Fazenda de Posto. We're getting visible gold with bonanza sort of gold grades near surface. For example, things like 4 meters of 43 grams gold, 30 meters below surface. So we're seeing a lot of geological variability, and I think ultimately this will help in terms of an ultimate commercial gold mine in the area, in the sense that you'll probably have some kind of a centralized mill, and you'll be feeding various sources of gold to this mill with different sort of grades, sort of bulk tonnage, low grade stuff, as well as higher grade, easy to recover type gold. In terms of our geological understanding, our geological model, we're dealing with what we call an intrusive hosted gold system. We're essentially dealing with the remnants of an old magma chamber, as shown in this diagram on the left. When we look at the geology in more detail, or what I should say is, why is that important? It's important because these types of gold systems can be very, very large. I've talked to this slide in the past, but basically, some of the world-class deposits such as Porgera, Olympic Dam, and Cripple Creek are tens of millions of ounces, if not more, even up to 100 million ounces at Olympic Dam. What's important to notice is that the size of these gold mineral systems can range from something like 3 to 4 kilometers to as much as 5 to 6 kilometers. At our Lavras project in southern Brazil, we actually have gold anomalism and mineralization over an area of about 11 to 12 kilometers. So what we can say is it's a very large gold system, and what we have been trying to do and what we are doing is focusing to find those economic concentrations, or potentially economic concentrations. This map really just shows the contiguous claims that we've put together on the property, outlined in red. We have 22,000 hectares of ground and 29 mineral concessions or rights. And I think the operative word is contiguous. And as you can see from these various bubbles here, we've been actively just going around and systematically drill testing a number of these showings. And again, we've come up with some very good results. Most recently, we put out some results on follow-up results at Fazenda de Posto, where we had 204 meters of 1 gram per ton gold, starting at about 30 meters depth. It was a scissor hole to the discovery hole, which was FP002, and really confirmed our discovery. This map really just shows you the geology again. And what I wanted to talk about with this map is just to give people a little bit of a picture as to what we're doing. It really is a district scale opportunity. It's not just one deposit. Being a junior gold explorer, one of our strategies is to make sure that we don't get too spread thin. So we need to focus. But based on the work that we've been doing, we are starting to see a significant mineral system starting to develop in the western edge of this intrusive complex, where we have Boua, which is 500,000 ounces, Fazenda de Posto, which we're trying to understand, and it will certainly add to Boua's resource. but we have made discoveries at Candelaria, Galvo, and Zekasuza. And so this whole area is really starting to develop into something that's significant. We don't completely understand it at this point, but certainly we'll be doing a lot more work to try and unlock the value. Boutia is our most significant deposit to date in terms of geological resource, if you like. It's the resource that we have is about 500,000 ounces. It sits at surface. It's a disseminated style of gold mineralization. It's open at depth. It's open along strike, and currently we are drilling to expand this footprint. We think we can do it. The current resource that we have, the official resource, is based on about 20,000 meters of drilling and 78 holes. So hopefully we'll have some results coming out of Boutia in the near term to show the upside potential. In terms of Fazenda de Posto, this is the discovery that many of you may know about, but we announced this at the end of August. Basically, it's a blind discovery. It was located about 150 meters to the west of Boutia in a down drop block in an area of what we call recessive topography. As shown on the left, you can see a cross-section of that drill hole. We drilled through about 117 meters of altered intrusive rock, granodiorites, and then we went into the mineralized zone with continuous mineralization for 340 meters. What's interesting about this is that we actually have a higher grade zone starting to develop at depth. For example, we hit 160 meters of 1.8 grams per ton gold, and then within that, some higher grade intervals of up to 2.1 grams and so on. So it's very interesting, and we need to do a lot more work to understand that, but we're certainly happy to see it. We did do a scissor hole that we announced, 23FP006, again, where we intercepted 204 meters of continuous gold mineralization, averaging about a gram. So effectively what this did was confirm this gold discovery. It's not a sort of a one-hit wonder. We have a lot more work to be done, but what was interesting to me at least is that the style of mineralization that we're seeing in 23FP06 is it's the same, it's identical to what we're seeing in FP02. And in our press release, we actually put out the meter by meter assay results, and you can see that it's continuous gold mineralization when you hit the zone. So this is very important in the sense that when you're going to mine this eventually in the future, you know, it's not like you're mining little patches with high grade and smearing that high grade over long widths. This is very continuous mineralization when you get into it. This is what the rocks look like. You can see the top part is sort of a salmon pink alteration of the original granites. Then we get into the mineralized zone, which is this kind of brick red, what we call epicyanite. That's the zone that hosts this disseminated style of mineralization. And then in the footwall or at the bottom, we get into what we call a perthitic granite. And there's gold in the perthitic granite, but sometimes that gold grade tends to drop when you hit that. This series of photos really just shows some details of the alteration that we're seeing. This is what we call an albite alteration. This is, again, this cap rock. The second one is just showing a typical epicyanite. You can see it's a disseminated style of mineralization. Visually, when we see this rock, we know we're probably going to get some elevated gold values. We need to wait for those assay results to understand exactly what they will be. But in this case, we were averaging about 1.6 grams per ton gold in this 1 meter interval. What's interesting here is we also are seeing some higher grade gold values. This one, for example, was 6.9 grams per ton gold. You can see there's a cross-cutting sulfide veinlet in this particular sample. So what this is telling us is that there's multiple pulses of mineralization. Where we see the elevated pulses of mineralization, we're getting elevated gold values. So that's the sort of thing you want to see in these healthy sort of gold systems. And then here's another example of elevated gold grade. This sample averaged just over 4 grams per ton gold. And you can see there's like a network or threads of sulfides within the matrix to these altered granites. So where we're getting elevated sulfide values, we tend to get elevated gold grades. Just kind of zooming out a little bit, this just gives you a bit of perspective on just the size of the mineral system that we're dealing with in the area. The blue on the left-hand side is really where we've got a density of drilling at Boua. As I said, there's about 78 holes into that. And then just to the west of that is the discovery at Fazenda de Posto. But this kind of green and red coloration is the size of the gold and soil anomalies that we see so far on the property. It goes for at least 3.5 kilometers. So there's a lot of work to be done to understand just where other potential deposits may be lying. And then just lastly, just wanted to talk a little bit about this Marosa royalty. It's a strategic asset that we have, and it is certainly something that I don't think we get a lot of value for in our share price. But basically, it's a 2% revenue-based royalty that we created when we were spun out of Amarillo Gold. And it's on all of the exploration concessions around what will be the Marosa mine. As I mentioned earlier, that Marosa mine is slated to come into production, commercial production, sometime in middle of 2024, so probably about 7 months from now. Hochschild is investing about $200 million to build that mine. We did make a gold discovery called Pistino on that concession area, and Pistino will accrue to that royalty at some point in the future. We don't exactly know when, but stay tuned. It is a valuable discovery. It was a 1.8 kilometer long gold bearing structure that we discovered before we handed the keys over to Hochschild, and that revenue based royalty does cover the Pistino discovery. And in terms of what's next, what can you expect from the company? As I mentioned, our near-term objective really is to define the geometry and grade distribution of Fazenda de Posto. We're really just trying to understand what it is we found. So we are drilling away there now with 2 drills, and we're hoping that we'll find more blind gold discoveries. This is a sort of a new style of mineralization that sort of opened up the exploration upside on the property, if you like. We're starting to understand this style of mineralization a lot better with more drilling that we've been doing there. We're also going to test for extensions and infill drill in and around Boua. The idea here is that we would like to look at Fazenda de Posto and Boua and try and establish the commercial viability of those 2 deposits, because Lavras is a very, very large property with a lot of targets. And for a little junior company like Lavras, what we need to do is focus. And so we've been fortunate to find Fazenda de Posto literally 150 meters beside Boua. So we are starting to develop a critical mass of gold mineralization. And in a market like this for junior gold explorers, which is very, very difficult, I think it's prudent for us to establish some kind of a base to prove to the investment community that we actually have a commercial mine, and that will kickstart the rest of the project in terms of the exploration upside over the medium to long run. So that's really where we're going to be focused. And I think if there's any questions, we can certainly start to address them. Okay, let me see. How do I do this? I'm not sure how I get the questions. Here we go. Can't really read them here. Okay. What are the terms of the royalty on Marosa? So the terms of the royalty at Marosa are, it's a 2% net smelter return royalty or revenue-based royalty on any gold production that would come out of any of the exploration ground in and around the existing mine or posse pit. Second question is, what is the drilling budget and meters for 2024? Where will the drilling focus? So we're basically planning on about 12,000 meters of drilling, 12,500 meters of drilling so far in 2024. The near-term focus is going to be at Boua and Fazenda de Posto. And then depending on those results, we will probably start testing some of our other exploration targets maybe by mid-year of next year. When are we going to issue the next round of drilling results? From what target or targets? Yeah, so in the new year, we'll be issuing more drilling results, both from Fazenda de Posto and Boua, which is the near-term focus for our company. Does Lavras Gold consider their latest drill results a success, and why has the market punished the company after the drill results? Well, I would consider those last drilling results to be very successful in the sense that we've confirmed this discovery. In fact, the mineralization was found at a depth of about 30 meters, which is encouraging. It's just showing that the mineralization is actually closer to surface than the original discovery hole, which is closer to 100 meters of depth. And the style of mineralization is certainly very similar to the first hole that we drilled. And so, yeah, I would say they're very successful results, and we're onto something, and we don't know exactly what it is at this stage, so we have to do a lot more work. I think we've got 3 holes that we've disclosed into the system, so it's still very, very early days, and but it's it's significant. It's not every day you drill 200 meters of over a gram material. So yeah, I'd say successful. When approximately will new drill results be released? Like I said, it'll be in the new year, and I'm not going to give a specific time, but it will be sometime in the new year once we get assay results, and we'll probably be releasing results in batches as opposed to single holes at a time. What attracted Eric Sprott to invest in Lavras Gold? Well, I mean, that's really a question for Eric, but I did meet with him recently, and he was very pleased with the the results that we've been generating at Lavras. So Eric really likes exploration stories. He likes the wealth creation that can come from exploration, and he sees the upside potential that we see on the property, and so he's in it for the long game, I guess, as opposed to short-term trading and that sort of thing. But I think it's really the exploration upside that he sees in the property. I think. Let me see. Let's see. Any plans on adding more drill rigs to progress faster? Right now we have 2 drills on site, and we're happy with that pace. We could add another drill, but we don't have plans to do that in the near term. We're sort of we're going pretty full blast with the team that we have, and we don't want the drilling to get ahead of the geology, so we'll probably keep it at that pace for now. And if things change, we could certainly add to that. But at this stage, I don't see us adding more drills. Yeah, and here we go. Congrats on the great performance this year. Why do you think? Why do you think the share price went down after the second round of drilling results? I don't know. I can't really speculate on that. I think there's some fast money that came in, pushed the share prices up, and then they just results weren't what they were hoping for, and then they went down. But look, I'm in it for the long game. I think that we're well on. This is mineral exploration, right? And so you get what you get in terms of results. But I feel like the results we've been generating are very, very good. In fact, they are very, very good. And the market's going to react the way it's going to react. But I can't control that other than to continue just to release the news as we get it, and the market will decide. I think those are most of the questions, and certainly I'd like to just thank everybody for their attention. If there's any other questions you want to call us, you're more than welcome to do that. Thank you.